CCTV footage often captures the unexplainable. Posted to YouTube by UFO Mania in May of 2018 and originally from FUMON, a Ring security camera caught a strange flying entity on camera. The unknown entity shoots onto the screen, sparking in the air before settling in a glowing fuzz at the bottom of the frame. It hovers there, floating, before jolting upwards and out of sight. YouTuber Trish Robinson writes, "One world has many creations in it. We simply don't understand them. Most will never be known by the masses. Is this just one of those many creations we don't understand?" Nevertheless, this footage raises multiple questions I wish we had additional evidence to answer. The adventurer Abdullah Al-Anbari is back, this time exploring an underground tank that's said to be the place of many experimental rituals. Something happens to his camera at 10 minutes and 10 seconds, immediately followed by this noise. And as the same thing happens again exactly 13 seconds later, which I think indicates a paranormal presence is near. But the strongest evidence occurs when they recite this opening passage and get a terrifying response. Judging from the spirit's reaction, it sounds like the prayer recital causes its monumental agony. A YouTuber named Outside sets up a home security camera and catches his very own neighbor rifling through his cabinets and refrigerator. The man is in and out of the house in less than 2 minutes after taking a number of canned drinks and other items. As these still frames show, the neighbor gains entrance through a window and then starts walking around like they own the place. It's both sad and scary to think that this YouTuber's own neighbor was waiting for him to leave every day just to take advantage of him. Videos like these show that sometimes the people closest to you are the ones least worthy of your trust. Has anything creepy ever turned up on one of your home videos? YouTuber Tink spotted something that stood her hair on end while watching hers back. See if you can spot it. Did you see it? Something scurries past beyond her shoulder to the left. Watch closely. Let's see it again, more slowly this time. Tinks says she was home alone at the time. I feel like it moves too quickly to be anything of this dimension. Is it something from another world? Let me know what you think in the comments. We've all done it, almost choked on something while distracted. But what should you do if you find yourself in this position while you're alone? This CCTV footage shows how a guy almost passed away while prepping a restaurant to open. The guy is doing his rounds, wiping down tables and getting everything in order, when suddenly he slows down, hitting his chest a couple times. It's clear something is going wrong, but he doesn't seem too concerned yet. He attempts to continue with his tasks for a moment, but then realizes this is serious. Walking to the middle of the floor, he bends to touch his knees and appears to be trying to stay calm. As he continues to pound his chest and bend over, trying to eject the piece of gum that's lodged in his throat, he starts to panic. He cannot breathe. He attempts to shout for help, but nothing comes out. While panicking more and more and getting increasingly unsteady from lack of air, he attempts to give himself the Heimlich with his hands. Still nothing. He then positions a chair to give him the Heimlich, bending over it and trying to fall the right way. Having already gone a couple minutes without breathing, he does this a few times. No luck. It's starting to look like a lost cause, but at the last second, the gum ejects from his throat. He is able to stand up again and looks incredibly relieved, as he should. He nearly passed away from a piece of gum. This one is especially haunting. Published to YouTube by TVR Exploring in December of 2019. The uploader explains that Ingolchek was a mining town that was abandoned twice, once by the dissolved Soviet Union, and then again by a foreign company that tried its hand to little success. But it wasn't the environment that surprised TVR Exploring, it was the encounter he had underground that he can't get out of his head. After TVR films the remote mountainside and the surrounding buildings, he heads into the mine, where he's looking at some rusted old gear left on a workbench. You start to hear howling from deep within the tunnel. There's water dripping, which drowns out the sound somewhat, but you can hear distinctly the otherworldly scream as TVR describes it. Although he's a self-proclaimed skeptic and doesn't necessarily consider the sound to be supernatural, TVR says all the hairs stood up on the back of his neck. After reflecting, he still doesn't know its source, and he asks his audience for their thoughts. Some say it's obviously a ghost or demon, others the wind, and still others consider it may be hydraulic. Although there's no definitive answer, everyone seems to agree that this man is extremely brave. A person is making a video in the woods about their fort when they catch something bizarre that leaves them screaming in horror as they run away.
Oh!
An unknown creature charges at them on all fours. At 45 seconds, you can see its arms are as long as its legs. In other words, not proportionate to a human at all. This video, taken in Texas, looks like it could be one of the many Rake sightings that have recently been popping up again across the world. Most Rake sightings show the creature screeching from afar. If that is what's captured here, then this video shows how quiet it can be for the element of surprise. A YouTuber named Tim Wells is out bow hunting with his friends when a flock of geese appear directly overhead. One of them aims and takes fire without properly taking the angle of his shot into account.
Oh, watch this arrow. This arrow's straight up. It's coming right for us.
He shoots roughly 90 degrees into the air, and you can actually hear the projectile cutting through the wind like a missile. As it heads back towards their exact position, it somehow lands roughly 10 feet in the middle of all of them, and they barely get away. Judging from the size of the arrow, there's no way any of them would have survived a direct hit. YouTuber Moxley's Crazy Adventures posted this haunted graveyard video in November of 2019, writing, "Welcome back to my first haunted graveyard. I went here to see what I could capture, if anything at all. What I did capture was insane. Alright, you reeled us in. Let's just hope you deliver." And Moxley does deliver. He captures a dark shadow-like figure gliding across the backdrop of a lit brick wall. He shouts out to it, but it doesn't respond.
What the hell is that? Hello?
He later hears heavy footsteps nearby. They're clearly heard in the leaves around him. In the comments, YouTuber Spooky Spectre notes that this thing wasn't moving like a human being, nor did the brush move as it passed by. It also didn't respond when being called out to, or make noise or footsteps. Do you agree with Spooky Spectre? Did this freak you out? If not, then you're one brave cookie. There's a haunted painting somewhere in this art gallery in Birmingham, UK. The only problem is Ted Whitehall isn't sure which painting it is, so he calls a pastor to hold an exorcism and cleanse every last one of them. Something demonic is determined not to let that happen.
Oh, take it from this place. It has no place here, Lord. I cast this out in the name, and I bind it in the mighty...
An angry ghost keeps slamming the door. It hates whenever the pastor talks about being cast out and keeps doing its best to interrupt him.
I cast you out and bind you in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. In the name of...
Persistent pastor pushes aside his fear and fires off the final words. You can hear the defeated spirit walk away.
Cast it into the pit, Lord, and bind it forever. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus.
That could just be somebody off camera walking away. So let's turn our attention towards the chair, which Ted says is made of cast iron. Can anybody tell me if this is really made out of cast iron? If so, it should weigh a ton and be virtually impossible to move. To call this paranormal activity would be an understatement. This is one powerful painting. Bah humbug. Published by D Dark Past Scary in February of 2022 and originally posted to TikTok by Naoa10 Kinoshita. Something mysterious is happening in this guy's house. He enters the living room where a Christmas tree is set up, lights twinkling, no one is there, but as he turns around the room, an object is thrown from a shelf. When he goes to retrieve it, he finds the phone has been broken. As he turns on the lights and opens the doors, more activity happens behind him, and finally right in front of him. Even as he flees outside, the spirit isn't done with him yet. Does this spirit have no holiday spirit? Or is it the ghost of Christmas past? Submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Conscious Swing 7599, this redditor wrote, trying to film a podcast until some intruder or some kind of lost creature started stalking us. Let's watch their submission and see what they're talking about.
Yeah, no, I don't know. In 40 years, I'm retiring. What are you gonna be doing, dog?
I'll be close to retiring, I said.
I don't know, dude. That's gonna be me, dude. I can't see myself doing anything but one of those like trashy office jobs, dude.
The redditor later wrote in the comments, there was something in the background right before the first cut.
Guys, there's a little jiggling going on with our doorknob. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know who that is, or if I call my dad, I know we're not going upstairs, that's for sure. I'm hoping he's going away. This is the third time he's done that.
And it started stalking us and trying to get in.
Oh, you can kind of see him. Boom. Yeah, no, there he is. That's a little scary for us tonight. My dad is not home. I don't know if I call him or what. Dude, we found the guy that was at our house knocking. He's just walking on the highway. We passed him like a couple times. Now he's gonna be up here, I think.
Dude, this is
crazy. You guys see him? I'm not slowing down, dude. I'm not risking this.
Be careful.
Driving in the
You don't want to hit him, dude. He's just walking around.
There he is. There he is. There he is. That's creepy. What? Whoa.
To which Pete the Cook 2 responded with, I can see it in the background before you go in, but can't make it out when you are looking out the window. Is the thing in the background the same as the guy walking down the road? The uploader later responded saying, he was actually out the window if you look against the garage. We think it's the same guy, because it's not like a group of people are going to a house that rule. It seems like this was one of the most positively received submissions in Chills Narrator subreddit history. Thanks Conscious Swing 7599. This aerial footage was broadcast live during a period of bad weather in Hebron, Ohio. Take a look at this flooded neighborhood and tell me if you see anything abnormal lurking in the dirty brown water.
Here with storm specialist Carl Parker, so if you want to stay on and have a listen, Carl's been looking at
A worm-like creature appears to wind its way around a house shortly before the camera zooms out. While this could be an ordinary piece of driftwood from the way it's moving in the water, I wouldn't be surprised if the floodwaters caused some sort of giant parasite to emerge from the sewers below. If you're like me, there's one thing apart from sharks that you were scared of when swimming in any pool as a child: the pool drain. As it turns out, we weren't worrying in vain. The 18-year-old lifeguard in this video is trapped by the pool drain and held under to the point of becoming unconscious. How did this happen? The lifeguard dove into the water to retrieve a kid's goggles that were dropped at the bottom of the pool, and when he reached his arm into the pool drain, it reached back. He couldn't get his arm out of the drain. Pulling and tugging, he was quickly losing air and probably hyperventilating, making him lose it even faster. When the other lifeguards finally realized that their friend hadn't come up yet, and in fact was motionless at the bottom of the pool, they jumped into action. One of the lifeguards cleared the pool, while the other dove in to save his colleague. He tugged and tugged, trying to get the arm to release, but it wasn't moving. The rescuer swam to the surface and told the other lifeguard to call 911. He then tried again to release his colleague from the drain, to no avail. When he came up for air again, someone said to turn off the pumps. The drain was acting like a suction cup on its victim, pulling mercilessly and not letting go. A single lifeguard's power is no match for this vacuum. So that's what he did. He turned off the whole system, but he was still unable to free his colleague, as the pump was somehow still in force. When a paramedic arrived, he dove in, and they were at last able to free the lifeguard. The guy was underwater for about 6 or 7 minutes, but after performing CPR, they got a spontaneous pulse. They transported the lifeguard by helicopter, where he began seizing. His brain was swelling, but medication was administered, and he fell into a coma. There were no signs of brain damage when he regained consciousness. While this footage is a Rescue 911 reenactment of what actually happened, and a dated one at that, it is scary and reminds us that there's no doubt that pool drains can be dangerous. They can even kill. Next time you're wandering through a forest, look out for the trees. They might just be hiding Duppies. Posted to YouTube by Javahan Ferguson in January of 2020. This video purports to show proof of a Duppy caught in a tree. What's a Duppy? Meaning ghost or spirit. The concept originated in Central Africa. Caribbean folklore in particular grasped onto the supernatural nature of the Duppy. Many residents in fact claim to have seen them. The malevolent spirits appear most often at night and are meant to haunt the living. In the video, the so-called Duppy woman appears to somehow be perched atop a tree. She is waving to someone or something beyond. If not something supernatural, how is this woman managing to stand or float atop a tree like this? And if she is a Duppy, what imaginable malice does she intend to induce? Class is still in session at this abandoned school. Published by Scary and Mysterious Stuff in April of 2022, this ghost hunter set out to explore the school, which is said to be haunted by the ghost of a student who is found lifeless there. After entering the school, he hears the haunting before he sees it. A chair squeals across the ground as it's being dragged by something unseen. When the chair slows to a stop, he hears another noise. Going to investigate, he finds a swing set in action, though no one is in the seats. Same goes for a second swing set nearby. As he continues around the playground, he hears another noise. He races back to the school and peers inside the broken screens of the classroom windows. That's when he sees this. Upon entering the room, this upsetting sight scares him enough to leave this place. Unlike the ghosts of past students, who it appears have never left. Imagine being alone in your house when a toy starts speaking over and over again, like someone is rapidly pressing its button. That's exactly what happened one day to a YouTuber named Melinda Wolf Miller with her child's Mickey Mouse toy. She bravely took out her phone and started recording. The toy makes some low noises at first, but once she says something about it, it apparently becomes very aggressive and starts growling in response.
Something is in the toy box is possessed.
It almost sounds like the toy is saying somebody in between snarling. I don't think that the two toys on top of Mickey Mouse are heavy enough to activate the bottom, so I'm honestly not sure what's happening here. Mysterious footage of a strange event caught on CCTV leaves one man wondering if they live in a haunted house when a bookshelf purges itself of reading materials in the dark of night. Soon afterwards, the door opens and a man looks into the empty hallway like he's seen a ghost. Judging from his timid reaction, thrown objects are a classic sign of poltergeist activity. However, some people in the comments say this was done with strings. There's one book that falls in the opposite direction as the rest. Is this simple physics or another sign from the paranormal? A strange and mysterious sighting on a doorbell cam has left this Los Angeles resident frightened. Their 5 a.m. visitor is seen through and at times straight up invisible. Plus, listen to how the audio skips when it passes by. Since paranormal energy is known to make cameras malfunction, I think this could be a real ghost sighting video. This CCTV footage appears to be from a market. A woman and a man are looking at produce when a stranger stumbles into the frame, reaches out his arm, and does something pretty terrible that I can't show here. The two people are obviously furious with his actions and attempt to take justice into their own hands. The stranger's actions were very creepy, and I wonder if this video evidence will be used to press charges. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.